So, good morning to you, Ben.
Good
Here
morning,
we have,
Hazel.
we've got Ben Hughes here, all the way from Hampshire in England, the United Kingdom. And so we're on the same time zone, which I absolutely love, because as we know, Ben, you and I are both involved with a global business, a global forex trading business. And when we're talking to people globally, we can get all those time zones mixed up.
Yeah, I do
Done
that
it
all the
many,
time. I get really worried about it.
many times. So it's so lovely to have someone in the United Kingdom, which is where I am as well. So, Ben, today we're going to talk about your story,
Yes.
essentially your money story, but more importantly, the solution that you found to a money story that, like many of us, is etched in survival.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not, we are not grounded for sure, most of humanity on this planet, in a thriving mode. And
Mm,
that's because of the history of the planet and the system that we're born into. And
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so Ben, we both belong to CFX. We're both global partners to a forex trading company that was birthed onto the global scene in July 2019. And I've been with that company since August 2019. So I joined in faith and I've learned to trust the process, the company, the CEOs, because they deliver what they say they will deliver. And I know, Ben, that you joined in September 2020. So it's quite a
Yeah.
long time after me.
Yeah.
And you joined with a $300 contract.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
that is the lowest contract that we can join with, which is about, I think it's about £250 sterling.
Yeah.
And I know that since then, you have got yourself up to a $15,000 contract,
That's
which
right.
means you are having that traded for you on the Forex exchange with absolutely no effort on
Yeah.
your part, that
Yeah.
money rolls in to you while you sleep. So, Ben, enough about me chatting. Let's
Okay.
hear your story. How,
Okay. So, sorry, your camera went quiet then.
yeah.
So, um, I remember about 15 years ago, I quit my job and I sat in front of my computer and I thought to myself, right, if I figure out the right thing, I can find a way to make this computer make money for me. But I never really knew how. And I kept doing it. I had this feeling that something like that was happening for me somewhere along the line, but I didn't know what it was and where I was going to find it. But
Yeah.
I had this really strong feeling. But then my belief in myself, my belief in being comfortable with money kept dropping. And then I kept going back to the old way of selling my time for money
Yeah.
and then getting stressed and then knowing there was something else out there for me. And I just kept on this cycle. And then over the last couple of years, I started to let go of these limiting beliefs that I've always had, that I grew up with, that everybody, practically everybody I know has, that you have to justify your existence by selling your time for money. And I know that is a false premise now.
Yeah.
You know, um, I enjoy being the person that I am when I'm at home with my dog and able to go out into nature and just do what I want to do during the day. I find that I'm better used to society, to my friends, to my family,
Oh,
if
wow.
I can be that person.
Yeah.
When I'm going out to work selling my time for money, I can't do that. And I become a fraction of the person I really am.
Yeah.
I hate myself when I'm at work because that's not who I am. I'm this person here that sat talking to you in my own time, and it's so much nicer. And I just feel that CFX has given me that freedom, so that I know that I can spend the rest of my life being the person I am for the people who need me. And then I don't need to do that for money. I can do it more genuinely. So if somebody asks me for help, now I am a trained life coach. So if somebody comes to me, I don't feel comfortable asking them for money. because then I don't feel like I'm doing it in a genuine kind of way. I'm doing it because I need them to pay me.
Yeah, you need them. Can I just
Yeah,
come in there a bit and just cement what you've said and ground that for everybody that is listening? Because, my friend, you are so on the same trajectory, the same mindset as me, and
yeah,
so many thousands of us that have been attracted to CFX. And I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about the law of attraction. I am talking about the inner man, the soul
yeah,
of Ben, getting itself straight with the personality that is Ben, that we're talking to now, which absolutely means that Ben's outer world must match with his inner world.
mm,
Okay. If you want to label that the law of attraction, then, you know, I'm fine with that, but really it's so much more than that. So
yeah,
Ben, all those years ago, if I can take you back to what you first said, 15 years ago, you had like this inner prompting about money and basically setting yourself free from what I call the matrix,
yeah,
right? The old paradigm that we're stepping out of. So, you know, to me, my friend, that is just, not just, I don't say that lightly, it's your soul prompting you because that was your purpose.
yeah,
Your purpose was to be you, the,
yeah,
the soul of you
yeah,
flowing through Ben, the human body. And so it started to prompt you. Listen to this, guys. This is profound. 15 years Ben had the message, and it's taken him 15 years to bridge that gap between then and now. So I really want to impress on people that this is not an overnight transition. And 15 years is very short in the eyes of the spirit. Okay. And I really love this story because although Ben said, I quote, you hated yourself, which I really wish you would erase as
that was
you
that was the
hated the
wrong
circumstances. You
that
hated,
was the wrong terminology.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
hated the circumstances that you had to show up in and filter through. Do you know, Ben, it
And
reminded,
I didn't like what came out the other side because that wasn't the person that I am.
yeah, because you reacted to that environment that you
Yeah,
did
that's
not
it.
want to be in as
Yeah,
being the personality. And then, so you're prompted by your spirit all those years ago. And it's like an inner knowing, which is a connection to God, and
yeah,
God is spirit. Nothing else is spirit, only God. And so, and anyone can, you know, have an opinion about that, but it's the truth. So you had this breathing space and you came back to a couple of years ago and you've worked through those limiting beliefs around money that
yeah,
held you back. Not only you, my friends, but it's held me back, it's held
yeah,
everyone back. And so
yeah,
we come to today where you have found, you've married up your inner self with the outer self. And to
yeah,
do that with financial freedom, we obviously need a platform.
yeah,
You say to me you're a life coach, and I know you're very, very good at what you do. But a life coach, and you're putting yourself out there to create a business that you said, and I've done that myself, and I really, really had a lot of trauma around
mm,
charging for what I
yeah,
did, for helping people through their spiritual journey. And I know
yeah,
you feel the same.
yeah,
So now you have this financial support from CFX, which supports you.
exactly. Yeah, I can't remember if I've told you about how, because this is going on from how I felt, in my early 20s about this way of making money that I always knew was going to come, but never did until recently. But how it actually came into my life was I wanted this I imagined this kind of block of money that supported me, and I imagined it, kind of felt it underneath me, kind of
Wow, yeah.
propelling me through life.
Yeah.
And then whatever I spent or used on myself or to help other people
Yeah.
constantly renewed. And I imagined this one night, and then once I
Wow.
realized what it was I wanted, suddenly I got a message from Matthew, who's my direct sponsor,
Yeah.
who said, here's CFX. Do you want to try this out? And I watched the videos, and it was exactly what I'd imagined.
Isn't that
only a few days
exciting? Yeah,
before.
yeah. So your inner guidance from your soul, which is magnificent, spot on, Ben. You know,
Yeah,
for people that come from the same mindset as you and from the same vibration and frequency of you as you, they're going to really resonate with that. And
yeah,
so you had your imagination, you know, and it prompted you with the vision that you had, and oh, I'm just tingling all over. It's just how it works, isn't it? It's
yeah,
divine law.
definitely.
It's
Yeah,
absolutely divine law. So
yeah.
then Matthew gets in touch with you, you come together like that, and you started your journey. So
Yeah.
you started your journey with that $300 contract. So walk us through that then, what's happened since September 2020 to now.
So when around about the same time that I started the first contract with CFX, I was also transitioning from PAYE employment to self-employment with the carpet cleaning contractors that I was working for. Um, and I had this amazing idea where because I instantly trusted CFX because I spoke to people like you and to like Matthew and everybody in your team. How many people have you got?
Oh, there's about 1,600 now ish. Yeah.
And that's in your team. That's not in the whole
But
of
no,
CFX.
just in CFX, there's over 150,000 people,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and growing daily. Yeah.
So I've seen some of the other teams, and they have different kind of mindsets. But in your team, everybody's so spiritual and friendly and honest and transparent. So I had this instant trust. So I had this fantastic idea that all my turnover from my other business, from my carpet cleaning business, I would put onto my CFX contract to so that I could upgrade really, really quickly. And it worked really brilliantly for the time that I was doing it. And then that's how I got so quickly to my 15 grand contract that I'm on now.
Yeah.
Um, but then I stopped for Christmas holiday,
Right.
and I had 2 weeks at home just talking to people online and being myself and playing with the dog and just doing what I like doing. And it came to the point sort of just after New Year where I had to go back to work. And I just thought, why? I don't want to go back to work. I don't need to go back to work. I've got CFX.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a no-brainer. I just woke up one morning and thought, I've got a choice here. I can carry on doing what I'm doing, trying to get money, working really, really hard, or I can just put all of my faith into the thing I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And that was it. I just
That was the
gave,
choice you made. Yeah. And that choice is just a few short weeks ago, isn't it? That you
yeah,
actually had that leap of faith, really,
yeah,
to
yeah. I think originally when I was running my CFX business and my carpet cleaning business, I remember saying to myself, well, if one goes wrong, then I've got the other one to back it up.
yeah.
Now, this is an old mindset from back a few years ago when a previous business failed. And I realized that it wasn't the business that failed, it was my mindset towards the business and the
Right.
fear and the worry that caused the business to fail.
Yeah.
And so, what I was doing by running two businesses was not believing in either of them 100%.
Hedging your bets.
It was a lack of faith, and that lack of faith wasn't in the business; it was in myself to be able to succeed.
Yeah.
So I realised that kind of overnight, and one day I just, it was about 2 weeks ago. I just thought, no, CFX is the right thing for me to do, and I just drew a line under everything else, and it's full steam ahead.
Right.
So I feel like I've got a really not planned out future, but a secure future
Yeah.
that I don't need to worry about financially. So my personal growth and my work and everything else I do can flow naturally, and I don't need to worry about where the money's going to come from to support that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I always like to say, you're coming into that space in consciousness where many, many people on this planet are beginning to realize that they don't need an income. They don't need a wage. Sorry, they don't need a wage or a salary. We need an income. And it's
exactly.
kind of what you've realized, isn't it, through your journey and
Yeah,
being exposed to Forex trading and other things, which is what the wealthy elites have always known.
yeah,
You've been exposed to that now. And as you say, you've got such a close connection with your spirit, with your soul, that your guidance is, second to none, to be honest.
yeah. I've got complete trust in my own guidance now, because I know the difference between motivation and inspiration,
Yeah,
and I can feel it, and I know I get this kind of warm, sweet feeling if it's the right thing to do, and it's the more I do it, the more I understand it,
yeah,
and as long as I go with what feels right, it's okay, it's fine, it's going to work out.
yeah, which is the language of the soul, isn't it? That
Yeah,
sweet feeling that you talk about, that is the language of the soul, and
yeah,
others would call it your emotional guidance
yeah,
system. So,
definitely.
kudos to you for listening to that, because that also takes a lot of courage. But you've been at it for 15 years or more. So, you know, since we were talking about you getting that realization about
Yeah.
money.
Another switch I've had since being with CFX is I used to have almighty faith in myself and trust in myself, but I used to trust myself to pick myself up when I failed.
Yeah.
Whereas now I trust myself to succeed,
Mm,
because I've
mm.
seen people like me joining CFX and succeeding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just by sharing the opportunity and just by following the trading contracts and really being focused on that and not spending the profits frivolously, but
Yeah,
knowing you've got a roadmap and this is where you're going, which is all about the personal growth, isn't it? And
yeah,
creating a healthy relationship with money.
yeah,
A
definitely.
really two-way relationship with money, because in my book, in my heart, money has a level of consciousness to it. It's an entity in its own right, but that means it's a huge thought form.
Yeah,
And all of the thoughts of all the people on the planet about money go into that collective thought form.
yeah,
And we resonate with some of it and not others. And then we act on faith with what we know to be true. But we do need a roadmap, don't we, Ben?
yeah,
Even
definitely.
though you've had this mindset shift and you've aligned with your soul's promptings to you, we still need a platform
Yeah,
for that
definitely.
money. And so
Definitely.
that's what's
Yeah,
married up with you, which in your
yeah,
case has come through the platform, the company that is CFX. So that's what you married up with in that collective thought form about
yeah,
money. And I
definitely.
just love that. Well, it's the way that I think, it's the way that I operate my life. So we know from that, and we can't prove it to anyone unless you jump in with faith, but we know that from Ben's journey, his inner truth of around money and that there is abundance for everyone and we don't have to work ourselves to death to just survive, has married up with the principles, which is the mindset of CFX. And that's why CFX is attracting soul based
Yeah,
humans like you
definitely.
and
Yeah,
me. And
yeah,
we know that from our CEO, Oscar Lopez, and his partner, Edwin Abad. They are both of the same mindset. They're both on the same soul journey as you and me and thousands upon thousands of others of us.
yeah,
So, putting it into words like this, chatting to you, Ben, it really hammers it home to me about divine law and how it works and how now is our time.
yeah,
And what I mean by that is the world is shifting fast. Things are changing now so fast on this planet from 2020 now going into 2021. And it's up to each of us to make a personal choice of which way we're going to go. Are we going to stick with that old matrix? In our case, right now, we're talking about money. So, do we stick with the old banking system that is out for control and not sharing at all, doesn't look out for its members? or are we going to shift into a monetary system that uses the old system to progress out of it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense how I've worded that, Ben?
Yeah. My way of kind of understanding what you just said is that the old-fashioned way is the only way you can make money is to extract it from somebody else through either stealing it, earning it, or borrowing it.
Yeah.
And the new way is completely different, that that money is there, and the money is there for everybody. There's enough for everybody. And as long as you allow yourself to have it, you can have some of that money, as
Yeah.
much as you need,
Yeah.
without taking it from somebody else. There
Yeah.
isn't a limited amount, there's enough for everybody. That's the way I understand what you just said.
Yeah, I totally agree with you as well, because that's a mindset thing, isn't it? You can take the analogy. Let's say we've got a mum and she's got 4 kids, she's married and got a husband, and they both think totally differently. Now, mum with her 4 kids might think, right, this is the cake we've got. This is the proportion of food. Oh, okay, we've got a fifth soul coming into the family, i.e., the mum's pregnant. We've got to make this cake smaller. We can only have a smaller portion. But then we've got the dad with an entrepreneurial spirit that understands that as our mind expands, so everything expands within us, including money. And it's not a case of we all take a smaller portion to feed everybody else. No, we expand our thinking with divine law, and as we expand, so everything expands, including our money supply. That's how I interpret the world and money. Do you resonate with that, Ben?
Absolutely. And I think the proof of that is if you look at anybody in that mindset, they've always got just enough money to do the things that they believe that they can do and should do.
Yeah.
They've never got any more and never got any less. But it's when you expand your mind that then that allows more money in. It's got nothing to do with what you're entitled to or allowed. It's what you allow yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. There is a never-ending flow, because as we expand, so the universe expands, our personal universe and the collective. And when we contract through fear or thinking less than, not enough, so everything expands in our reality, in our world. And so, really that's fantastic. So you talk about obviously the other side of the coin for you is you're a life coach. Now, is this the kind of thing that you help people understand through personal growth and spiritual growth?
Yeah, it's the kind of allowing yourself the freedom to be who you want to be. That's my kind of angle. I see so many people struggling in themselves, not quite understanding that everything comes from within.
Right.
Nothing is anybody else's fault until you're willing to look at yourself and start doing things to make your life better. It's never going to get any better.
Yeah.
So I'm not all wishy-washy. I don't try and make people feel better about themselves. Sometimes I can be a bit harsh, and it's not what people want to hear. But if people want change in their lives, they've got to start reading books. They've got to start understanding how things work.
Well, they need that kick up the butt, don't they, Ben?
Yeah, definitely.
They really do. It is harsh. It is strong words. It is, strong energy. It is, come on, get yourself in here. You've got to do it. Yes. Yeah.
And I enjoy doing that from the heart and just helping people as and when they come to me, rather than setting up a business and going out looking for clients.
Yeah.
Not the same.
It's not, Ben. Just a little bit of my story. I've been a spiritual teacher of higher consciousness for decades, almost 40 years now. And when I first started, the world was different place entirely. But I knew about lots of things that I didn't share. But anyway, I started to share what I knew about spirituality and higher consciousness. But then I got myself into a situation where I was putting my daughter through private school and university, and the money was whipped from under my feet. And so I started to charge for my, let's just say, spiritual services. And you know, that disrupted my nervous system more than I can ever say.
Mm.
To charge for what I truly felt was a gift from God for me to share with others, but I still had to put food on the table, and I didn't want to go to work, you know, as in a job, because I knew
Yeah.
that would destroy my soul even more.
Yeah.
Doing that then, and I know there are various opinions about this. Some people say, well, you're teaching spiritual stuff, you need to charge. But to me now, that is the
Yeah.
old paradigm completely. And now I too have found CFX, been there with it since August 2019. And now, Ben, it is such a relief to my nervous system that I can offer all of my knowledge and all of my, you know, clairvoyance and my abilities freely. I
Yeah.
cannot tell you, and I'm sure you know, my friends, how liberating that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because I've now got that platform where the money is there to support me with my bills and, you know, all of that.
yeah, yeah, and it's exactly the same for me. And
Yeah,
to no longer have that worry
yeah,
about where the money's going to come from. That's like a whole section of my negativity just gone.
yeah,
It's I just feel so safe and supported. I feel like I'm being kind of I feel like I'm on like a wave of like
yeah.
happiness and
I know what you mean. Yeah.
being supported by almost by the
By
planet.
life, by life itself. Yeah, that wave is life, isn't it? And you know, when we feel supported and when we feel safe, for those people that are into the spiritual jargon, that is base chakra stuff.
Yeah,
That is the base chakra. It's all about feeling safe, feeling secure, but from within yourself, not because you've got a job or you've got this partner that looks after you. It's nothing to do with that. So that is the first level of consciousness within ourselves that we've now. I can't help smiling, Ben. It's so lovely chatting to you that I can speak in the way I love to speak.
yeah,
We've got that base chakra, that first groundedness within us. We've got that set, and we know we have because we've got that feeling of safety, and
yeah,
that's what that is all about. So, you know, I've known you just a few short months, and I've watched you grow. We've spoken often, and you know, where I see you today, January 2021, I think it's the 14th today, I'm not sure. But since I first had a conversation with you, I think it was in October 2020.
yeah,
So October, November, December, January, you have, I'm not going to say grown, I'm going to say you've aligned and fallen into the real you
yeah,
in just that short time I've known you. I know you've done a lot of work before that, but
yeah. But
since
even though I did a lot of work, I still hadn't stepped into the person that I was.
no, and
It was
now
always I was always trying to find the person that I was, and eventually, a couple of months ago, I seemed to figure out who I was, and
yeah,
then just stepped
yeah.
into that role.
And essentially, Ben, would it be true to say that the allowing, when you allowed yourself to step into who you really are, was really all around money, wasn't it? And that feeling of you are supported by
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I no longer feel that I have to figure out ways to make money because it's
yeah,
being done for me by CFX.
yeah, yeah. So that's amazing. I just love who you are, Ben, and how you show up in the world. So to bring this to an end, this one-time conversation, and we'll probably have a lot more. What would you say to people keeping it around money? What would you say to them now, knowing what you know?
Knowing what I know, I think some people do have a vocational thing in life where they were born to be a nurse or they were born to be a midwife or born to be such and such.
Yeah,
And perhaps those people are really well suited to go and work for somebody else, and because that's what they were meant to do.
yeah,
But for those people like myself who only went to work because they had to make some money, I think those people are missing out on who they really are, and forget about what you've been taught about money. If that doesn't make sense, go and read some books. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Read Think and Grow Rich. Okay, they might be loaded with preconceived ideas about what they're about, but they teach you a lot about the world, about money, about the mindsets that we're brought up.
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, just to
And
quickly come in there about Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book by Robert Kiyosaki. We'll put a link underneath here. It is a good place to start. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad is by Napoleon Hill. This is not new stuff, guys. This is from the turn of the last century. And it's
yeah, Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the most popular books out there, but it was written before the war.
yeah, I think it was 1920s it was written.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
and
it's a brilliant book. That was the start for me of my spiritual journey,
yeah,
and my financial journey. And it's now I'm realizing that it's all tied in together.
yeah. It's lovely to see it all coming. It's like a puzzle, isn't it? That all
Yeah,
comes together according to our ability to let it in. Is
yeah,
how, if there
yeah,
was ever a fast track to any of this, it's about our ability to have an open mind and let
yeah,
new knowledge surface
yeah.
from within us. Yeah.
I think I had an open mind when I joined CFX, but I still had those reservations within myself.
Yeah.
And looking at it, thinking, "Oh no, I've seen things like this before,"
Yeah.
and then making judgments about it, which I really had no idea about. But
Yeah.
that was my problem. But luckily, I had the likes of you and Matthew, who I could talk to, and was realizing that no, this is nothing like anything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's fantastic. So Ben, I'll put the titles of the books that you've just mentioned that people should read underneath this video. And now, how would you like people to connect with you? Because I'm gonna put this on social media. I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and I'm gonna put obviously your links underneath this video. So what's best
Brilliant.
way?
So, Facebook Messenger is the best place to get me.
All right, so I'll just put your Facebook URL there and they can connect with
Yeah,
you.
brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So many blessings to you and thank you for such a lovely chat here today.
Thank you, Hazel. You're wonderful. I love you.
Okay, Ben. Thank you.
All right.